little 5 minutes for everybody to get in, and I am getting things started here. Hope everybody's having a good day. But I got some good matches picked out for you guys. I went over the match reporting and really picked out the matches that I thought had the potential, that were really close, things like that were the ones I wanted to focus on. And I wanted to start out with Hollywood because Hollywood's a really great map uh, to learn from. So we're gonna dive in here. This was in the match one series, Chico versus Jonesy on this hybrid match. Not just red, you guys. What are you talking about, man? But anyway, let's take a look at what's going on here. I'm going to be doing a deeper analysis than what you guys might be used to on a lot of stuff. So we're not going to be doing the overview like you guys are used to. We're going to be like really looking at what's going on, doing a more classic VOD review, so I can give you guys some more in-depth information. So let's take a peek at what's happening here. Let's look at the compositions. All right, we're running a little lighter on the healing on Team Blue. You've got Marskep on a Bastion with a Mercy healing. Over on the other side, healing looks a lot strong. You got two real main healers there. You got a Baptiste and a Moira. All right, let's see what's going to happen on the entry here. And like I said, this is going to be really in depth. I want to see how these guys are coming out the gate.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
All right, so right there, we have a little bit of a problem already. And like I said, I'm very in depth here. So one thing right here is you see Blink coming out the gate way ahead of his tanks. Compton's fine because Compton's running a scout character. Compton needs to be getting up here in the front and checking out what the other teams are doing. So that's actually good on his part. However, Game Ruler or aka Blink does not need to be out here. If Game Ruler's going to come out like this, Game Ruler needs to be running this side route, kind of the same Compton's doing, and using this natural cover so that he can come out here and start peeking this side of the map in this cover and start looking for what he can get some value off of while still remaining mostly hidden, mostly covered behind these cars, these bushes, and things like that. Kind of set the bad tone. What do you mean? Bad tone on this map already? But coming out the gate, it's already a problem. The habit that everybody needs to be into is coming out behind their tanks. Always go out behind your tanks. Don't ever try to be running in front of your tanks, especially on the initial way out. That's an easy widow pick. It's just an easy way to get picked off right off the bat. Let's not do that. So, Mendoza's just kind of standing around. I don't know what's happening there. All right. Let's take a look at the defensive setup while we're here. Ghost is in a great place. Now, honestly, if you're going to run this is not a bad strat, like putting a shield up for the Bastion in the background. It's a lot of coverage, but here's the problem with this, right? There's a long distance, right, between here and the choke. Now, the problem with that is what a lot of people don't remember about Bastion is he's got a damage drop-off. They went cheeky on calls to use Sombra and then Scout through the count based on running anything cheeky. Well, they were running something cheeky. They were running a Bastion, back here. But the problem is this is not an effective use of the Bastion anyway, because it's way back in the background and it's getting too much damage fall off and too much spread from the distance to really do a lot. Now, however, over here on this side, this is not too terrible. I do like the high ground. The problem here with Chico, right? Chico, the hell are you doing? You know the shield's over here, right? You can see through it and everything. Like, so I don't really understand why we're standing out of cover whenever we've got all kinds of cover to be using. But we definitely need to be doing that. Okay, so we got an entry coming in from Compton. Compton's still scouting. Blink is coming out again, kind of ahead of his tanks. Luckily, though, the engagement's happening up here, not down here. Let's see how this plays out, though, because it looks like he's already taking a little damage. Bastion can cover the point from there, so that's the upside. All right, so I feel like that drop down happened a little early, honestly. So here's the deal. Like that drop down. Let's back it up a little bit. I feel like it was a little early. I don't understand why we dropped down here. Let's take a closer look
Defend
at that.
objective A.
Maybe I missed something here, but let me look. Let me see what you see. All right, there's a little pressure from the racer. Nope, there was no reason to give up that high ground. There was no pressure here, so Ghost should not have given up that high ground there. I really feel like there would have been a big advantage to staying up here, honestly. And here's the reason why. From where you guys are, right? If you feel like you're taking pressure from the bottom here, you can just back up a little bit, right? You just back up a little bit because if you can't see them, they can't see you, right? And if you're gonna rotate, right? Honestly, on this map, if you're gonna rotate, you're running two tanks. You still got Dave up here on the front. So if Ghost wanted to rotate, he should have rotated down through here and then came out back here. Why? Two reasons. One, you got a mega pack back here that any squishies that are with you can get to if they need to, and while you're shielding them. And number two, you're just coming in forward and you get a better view of the situation. And you can come in and reinforce Dave here. So it's just a safer route. You've got a lot of natural cover to rotate back from, and just keep that in mind when you're playing this map. Let's get over you. Okay. Now this play right here. Let's go back a little bit again. This is what I like. This is what I'm probably. I hope this is not what I'm going to look at, but I call what I think I just saw the herp-a-derp tank play. Let's take a look. Right there. Okay, this is what I call the herp-a-derp tank play. Hey, appreciate that. So here's the deal. Why play out in the open, like way out in the open here with your tanks, right? Don't do this because like now their whole team can just come around this corner and focus you, and you've got all these steps you got to take right here to get back to your cover. So try not to like throw yourself way out in the middle of an alley right here. Play these corners, right? Play these corners with your tanks. Get this natural cover. Rotate your shields up in and out, and swing, right? Swing in and out where you need to. Same thing with Sigma. You can poke out here, throw some, left clicks, throw your rock, and redeploy your shield, right? You don't have to like play way out here in the open where you got all of this, like, especially with Sigma's like slow no shoe wearing ass movement, right? Like he's got all this time he's got to take to float back to this corner to get covered back. Like we don't need to do this. You gotta make sure that you're playing your cover with your tanks and doing what you need to do to make them survive. Like take some of that pressure off your healers, right? Your healers are putting in work back here. And whenever you're also way out here on this side, look where you're forcing Chico to have to play out here, right? Chico's got to play out in the open with you to get these angles that you're trying to play. But at the same time, if you're playing Ryan, you just be like, hey, I'm going to shield for you, Chico. And you just come out here and put the shield like right on this corner where you don't have to like back all the way up. Chico can come out here, take a storm arrow pot shot across this, maybe get like some value out of it. Maybe not, but still, you've enabled him. And then, whenever he's done with his, what he needs to do, you just back up and rotate your shield and recharge your shield. Simple, easy peasy. All right, and see what happened here? Like Ghost, or not Ghost, but Dave got called out on that a bit. All right, so I know the rotation probably just got called there. Ghost did a good thing, like kind of hid and recharged his shield a minute. All right, now right there, here's the deal. Let's back that up again, just a second. Alright, and right about here. Okay, so right here. Now here's something that could have happened that didn't happen. Alright, Vendetta is out of position, like majorly out of position, right here. He's by himself. He's separated from his team. All right, so here's what could have happened. Let me pull up my handy dandy tool here that I have. All right, so here's what could have happened. LA King's Dave could have moved forward right here and put his shield up to block these guys off right here. I know I put an arrow there, but he could have blocked these guys off at the same time. Ghost could have rotated in with the rest of the team coming in from the other side and just come right down on top of Vendetta. And this shield would have blocked him off from any healing, anything that he could have gotten right here would have been blocked off from that team while he got melted. So there was a missed opportunity here for the team to collapse on Vendetta, and that should have happened. Wait, how do I get this to stop? Stop. There we go. Okay, let's go back to this. That wasn't a bad pin attempt. I probably would have tried that myself. All right, let me talk about that flux for a second. I'm going to say that was bashing cleared. Wouldn't it be more? The team needs to move to the backside of the point where there's plenty of. No, right there they need to. If you're talking about that situation with Vendetta, right there they really needed to block off the rest of the team and get Vendetta out of the way, because if you can kill one of the main tanks or kill the main tank, typically you can win the fight. If you got a chance to collapse on him, do it. Now, as far as I was talking about with this flux right here, the flux was actually kind of bad, and let me back it up so we can talk about that flux, because this was just a bad positional usage of that flux. Okay, so let's talk about it. Now, the flux caught 3 people. You would think. Oh yeah, Ven's team did need to move up with the Reinhardt. If they'd moved up, it would have stopped them. But what I'm saying is that Vin was out of position from his team, so there was a point where it could have been capitalized on. That's more what I was focusing in on. But yes, the red team should have moved up with Vin or been telling Vin. Actually, the better thing right there would have been to tell Vin to get back. Like you're separating yourself from us, and this is not an opportunity to push, because they did not have the point pressure to push that fight right then. All right, so moving on to this flux here. Now it looks like a good flux, right? You caught 3 people in it. Like you're going to have 3 people that are at least half HP. Um, However, one of those people is Baptiste. He's in between both tanks. Baptiste, we know, has an area heal, and he has an immortality field. So this is already sketchy because there is a Baptiste right in between these 2 tanks. So it doesn't present much opportunity. But more than that, right? Let's look at the position of this flux from the red team's perspective, right? Let's get around here. The only thing you can see that's caught in this flux is Reinhardt from line of sight. He's also going to have a shield. He's got a healer with him. Everybody else is still protected by natural cover, and everybody on the red team is all the way out here. There's literally no way to use this ultimate to push this, right? So therefore, it's kind of a bad use of the ult, because you can't really use it to do anything after it's done. All right. That was actually a pretty decent zoning ult off the Baptiste there. It was good. Kept the red team being able to push that side. And here's something to realize, right? Sometimes using an ult isn't about getting a pick with it, right? You can use a McCree ult, a Baptiste ult, and a Diva Bomb, right? to zone people out of places you don't want them to be. Like literally, just those using those ults alone holds the point, even if you don't get a pick off of it. So keep that in mind when you guys are talking about, ult usage and stuff like that. Even if you don't get a pick off the ult, that doesn't necessarily mean it was a useless ult. Oop, not that. There we go. All right, so Bastion set back up on point. I was gonna say I really don't. Yeah, really didn't feel like that was the place to set up, knowing that Sigma was back there. All right, let's talk about this. Why is Rambo alive? Like he's just sitting there in the back line tearing people up, right? And nobody is capitalizing on him at all. Like there's nothing happening to him. That should not be the case, right? Rambo should be getting collapsed on. Everybody should be like, "Hey, let's go melt the Sigma," especially right with this going on. Okay, this is time to get the hell out of Dodge. Like it's time for you to like back up off the point a little bit into Rambo, kill Rambo while this is getting like used up, and then now that you have a tank down, then you can come back, right? And you can actually come back and push the point again after you get rid of Rambo. So that's what should have happened right here. But that's a good transcendence from the Zen for Jonesy there. But that is that moment right there with Rambo is where that point got lost because nobody collapsed on him, didn't get out of the zoning ult here in time. So the reaction was just really slow there, and I feel like that's what lost this fight right here. Okay.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Now, there's a lot of mixed opinions about this, but I kind of like what Vendetta did here, along with Compton. I really do not like pushing past this door until you get this cart moving here at this particular choke. This is a personal thing for me. That doesn't mean it's wrong. I'm just saying that I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because everything is too uncertain on the other side of this door. You know, these guys could have high ground if they're running snipers, or if they've made changes. As soon as that door opens, they can just laser the hell out of you. You don't have any good ways to see what's going on, really, pushing past this, right? Because while they're regrouping or whatever, you guys, it's too easy to get separated here. Like this is just a really easy place for a team to get discoordinated. I feel like it's better to sit on the cart and push. And this is one of the rare times you'll ever hear me say that because I'm always an advocate of push way ahead of the cart and just get all that space that you can get. But on this particular point, I feel like this choke is just too uncertain to try to play it way ahead like that. So that's just a me thing. But let's take a look at what's happening here. Okay. So first off, I really feel like Ghost should have been playing this point right here on Hay Bale. I feel like if he's going to do this, he gave up all of this space. Like all this space coming from Choke up to here was free space that he just gave Rambo. He could have been set up here on the Hay Bale, and that would have stopped him from taking all of that. This is a really good place to play. If you've never played there, I would suggest it. All right, and the reason for that is if you're here, right, you've got natural cover. The guys right behind you can see through this area. They can see if somebody's trying to push through this little side area. And you've got like all of this area to play with where you can see what's going on. You can see, importantly, right, from this choke, there's a couple things that you can see that you need to be aware of. All right, and what that's going to consist of is you can see what's going on here, and you can see what's going on here, and you can see if anybody is pushing through here. Now, the reason that's important is because if they're doing that, again, there's that little door right behind us here that they can try to push and like get a surprise on you. So, what was the only thing you said you did off map? Anyway, um, but yeah, let's try not to give up that kind of free space. Uh, Honestly, again, like I like what Vendetta is doing optimally. Um, if we were going to press, forward like this, I wouldn't want to see Jonesy up here. Honestly, I'd want to see Baptiste back here on the cart, and then Vendetta up here pushing with Rambo. Because you just want your main healers up there, your ranged healers back there with you, or your main healer. Anyway, sorry. So let's take a look at what's happening here. First off, I'm not really sure what is. Ghost is probably checking behind him to see if anybody's coming behind. Yeah, because he knows Game Ruler's back here. Okay, but here's the problem. Ghost can't do anything about Game Ruler. He's playing Tracer. So Ghost is in a really bad position. He's already managed to get a Discord on himself. And turning to the side like this just opens him up to the DPS from the other team. So honestly, if he's feeling the pressure or he wants to get out of that Discord, he either needs to back up behind Dave over here, or he needs to like get behind this wall here and start rotating so that he can get that Discord off of him. Because Discord's line of sight, right? They have to see you. So you can get that Discord off you, and honestly, as long as you got that shield up, I don't believe Zen can Discord you again. So that is the play there, in my opinion. Okay, let's take a look at what was going on back here while that was going on up there. Okay, so Game Ruler's going after the healers, as they should. Okay. Okay. So this is actually, right now, it's very uncoordinated. Game Ruler's up here on Baptiste with Blink. There's a lot of potential for Red to be putting some pressure down here, but honestly, like the positioning that Red Team is in here, I feel like is just not great. They're too separated to really get any value out of what they're doing right now. Yeah, like Blink can put some pressure down on these guys from the top here, but with Tracer's damage follow up, Tracer's not a long range DPS. Tracer's like a close range DPS because her damage fall off is actually considerable. So right here, she can poke, maybe get some ult charge, but this is not benefiting the team as far as putting any real pressure down right now. And it's also taking Game Ruler, the main healer, away from Rambo here and away from Vendetta. So it's splitting the healer's focus off the tanks, which is fine in some cases, but there's no real benefit here. So let's take a look at how that plays off. Right, so Blink's still trying to play long range on Tracer here. Get some poke. I feel like that was probably a poorly utilized ult there. Okay, so Blink finally manages to get on the ground, but you see, here's the deal: Blink did not get any value until Blink dropped down into his effective range on this character, and then he was able to take out Marsh Hip. But he couldn't do it from up here; he had to get on the ground. Now, granted, being on high ground did let him look for an opportunity, But he could have done that poking around these corners too. And probably been able to do it faster. And again, now we talked about splitting the healer's attention, right? With Blink being up here and Game Ruler being up here a second ago, right? Now look at what Vendetta's having to do. Vendetta's having to go like search down a heal pack as a tank because he wasn't getting the healing support that he needed from Game Ruler, right? Because Game Ruler's running around with Blink up on this top ground. So keep that in mind. That's cause and effect there. That was just poor game awareness. That should have never happened. Somebody back here should have seen that happening and been trying to give a heads up. Well, all right. I guess Vendetta took lemons and made lemonade. Nacho, what are you doing, dude? Is Nacho in chat? Let me play this back and see how Nacho got separated. Okay. Alright, so this was just bad game awareness for the rotation. Let me talk about how we could avoid that. I'm going to back it up actually a little bit here. Alright. So let's talk about when to get out of a fight, right? Alright. So we got one down, right? We know Marskip is down. And then we got this whole weird situation coming up here when Vendetta wasn't getting the healing he needed, so he had to go find it on his own. Alright, so Nacho's trying to get away from Blink. Then this weirdness happens and Ghost gets called out. Alright, right about there. At that point, when Ghost caught out, Nacho, you should have been able to, if you, I don't know if you're here with me, but whoever's watching, Nacho should have been able to watch those events unfold right there. Look at his kill cam, right? We know Marsh is down already and respawning. Now, we got both the tanks that just went down on the kill feed. Boom, boom. It is time to get out. It's time to go. So instead of like going, over here towards safety, right? Nachos, for some reason, rotates back here. And like I understand there's a mega pack back there, but it's not going to do you any good when both your tanks are dead. The best thing that Nacho could do right now is this. Die right there. It's the best thing Nacho can do right now. Because you want to get on point, you want to die so you can regroup. And regroup as fast as you can. Or right here, where Compton is, right? Walk right in Compton's face, let him kill you. Just die. Die on the card if you can. But regardless, die and regroup. Because right now, all you're doing is feeding the stagger. Alright. Yeah, this is just more and more stagger happening, and then he dies. So right now, he could have been regrouped with his team already and helping stop this cart from moving. But instead, the payload hits the point. Alright. Alright, so look at what's happening right here. Look at the kill feed, right? So this kill feed is indicating one thing, is that blue team is feeding right now. Blue team is feeding their brains out. So what's happening is they're just trickling in. They're panicking, right? The panic mindset has started. And these guys are like, oh my God, we got to get the cart. We got to stop the cart. And they're not really paying attention to regrouping right now. What you got to do is somebody's got to like take the reins in this situation and go, no, It is time for a full regroup. We cannot do anything going out and feeding one by one into this whole scenario. Here's the thing, like the way that whole match is going with Nacho dying late that way, that point was already lost. At that point, it's just time to stay in spawn, let them have that point, and get a full regroup in so that you can go take an actual, real fight to this team.
Team kill.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about something else that's been going on pretty much this whole match, right? Blake has been playing this Tracer the whole match. They've been getting into the rear line, harassing the healers pretty much all match. So, with that being the case, this isn't the call. That needs to be a McCree. It needs to be like maybe a soldier. Anything that can put some pressure on that Tracer when it's in the back line and also help put pressure on, in with the front line. So anything that can play central to the team and both peel the Tracer off your healers while at the same time helping the front line put pressure down lane. That is what you need to be like focusing on. Not against Blink. All right, so if it's not working against Blank Marsh, you need to be looking at like again, like a soldier or anything that, like I said, that can help peel that tracer off while still allowing you to put pressure down the front line. That's okay. It's real hard to avoid a soldier's like hit scan and or rockets. Uh, at the very least, if you hit a rocket at their feet, it's going to make that tracer back off and get out, which is what you got is what you're really looking for. That's okay. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
You like that? You like that?
It's not wrong. Um,
I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
but hey, just be aware. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just very like when I say I'm going to give you guys a critical, in-depth analysis, which is something I feel like you guys haven't been getting in the past a lot. That's what I'm trying to do. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Um, I'm not saying I'm infallible about anything. I'm just really looking at you guys' positioning. I'm really looking at your compositions and trying to help you guys think of ways that you can do things a little differently that help you pick up your gameplay a bit. So that's what I'm after. Let's take a look here. But anyway, but Marsh, the reason I'm saying specifically that Torb's not a great pick for that is he might get a few pot shots off at Tracer whenever Tracer's, poking out to see where your turret is. But here's the problem with that. Tracer's got a recall. Okay? So that means that Blake can pop out here, see where your turret is after it like shoots him a couple times. Now he's got a location, right? He can recall back, get a health pack, whatever else. Marsh is used to it. And then, right, he knows where it is. So now he can rotate around to wherever is the best entry point for him, blink a couple times, be on top of that turret, burst it down, and then recall back out again at full health. And now you've got to worry about that cooldown, right? Where he can come in and he's going to have those blinks a lot faster. You're going to have your turret again. So then he can blink right on top of your face, blow you away, and he gets out scot free. Like if a Tracer's really playing big brain, that's what they're going to be looking at. Let's see what's going on down here. All right. Let's talk about the positioning here, right? Again, since we are looking at Torb, right? And I don't see your turret out anywhere here. That turret should be placed out somewhere to try to help you guys get some value. Back here, in the entryway area, just anywhere where it's a little out of the way and somebody starts peeking, they start getting nailed by it. But honestly, again, why are we pushing this whenever there's a Sigma back here? Like Nacho's already turned around looking at the Sigma. Let's see if there's anything looks like coordination that happens here. No. Sigma's still in the back line. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna watch this. All right, Nacho. With 1v1 happening. Sigma versus Batiste. And as predicted, this did not end well for Batiste. All right. I understand that Batiste has a lot of survivability. I get it. But Sigma has a lot more survivability. And a stun, and a shield, and shields, and he can eat your incoming damage for even more shields. Look, man, don't take that 1v1. That was destined for a loss. Unless Rambo was going to play Brain Dead, and Rambo doesn't usually play Brain Dead. Now, let's talk about the bigger problem that's in this scenario as well, okay? Let me get a nice big old circle here. Why are we letting Rambo stay here? Guys, this dude's just raining shit on your heads from up top. Why? Don't let him do that. Nacho should have been communicating to the team, hey, there's a giant, Rambo-shaped asshole up here, and we need to do something about him. Like, that should have been the conversation. And then everybody should have been like, oh, crap, let's go back here, let's go up these stairs, let's do all the crap, and let's get up here and let's, go kill the Rambo-shaped asshole, or at least get him off the high ground so that we can actually properly contest this choke. As long as you're leaving him here, there is zero real contest that can happen here because he can just keep raining crap on your heads. You're never going to be able to push past here effectively because that's where he can start seeing you. But here's the thing. You're going to give up that space regardless because you cannot push past here. Right? At least if you go up here and you get him out of position, you can kill him, right? And then possibly perform a pinch. Or at least push him off and then rotate back. No matter how you slice it, you're giving up position here. So you either got one or two choices. You either push him off that high ground, or you just realize that you're going to have to play here. And this is it. Like, you can't push past here. But I especially didn't like the decision to go up here and contest Rambo 1v1, right? As a healer up here. That was just a bad choice. We did it again. Again, let's not push the tank 1v1 up there. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, those are your choices. You can either just contest that corner by itself, right? Or you can push him off high ground. Personally, you're already down a healer. Like, I feel like the better choice when you're already down a healer is like just trying to like play that corner a little bit harder because you don't have all your guys to like go up there and push him off at that point. But what I'm saying is that initial push that Nacho was trying to do, Nacho should have been coordinated with his team instead of trying to do it on his own. Like, we all want to be the hero. That's not the way to do it. Nacho got tank mindset. He might, but that was not the way to play that. All right. So this is a little odd. Okay, this can work, but it's a risky play. What Red is doing here. So Red's creating a pinch on both sides, right? They got a tank and a healer on both sides playing this. The advantage they have here, though, is that Rambo and Game Ruler are up here playing the high ground. So they are looking to take that high ground advantage. And honestly, before I hit play again, it looks like Blue is playing into it already. Because Blue is split here. Like, you got Chico in here trying to 1v1 Rambo again after he's already lost 1v1. And he's got no healers with him. He's got no backup, whereas Rambo has got a healer with him. So this is it's a poorly chosen engagement. Let's see what happens. Chico has to back out. All right. Now, the other reason that was poorly chosen is because Sigma's got spam, right? And he can just spam Chico to death right down this hallway, right? It's just a very closed area. So that's where I had a little bit of an issue. Now Chico's having to worry about Blink back here and having to do some evasive crap to get away from the pressure. Problem is, Chico's having to run up this thing, right? But now he's going to be in between these guys and a BAP window. That's just a bad place to be in too. Ghost and Dave are in trouble, really. Like, Ghost is doing okay. Dave's about to go down. Nacho's taking another 1v1 with a tank over here. I don't know, man. Alright, now, again, what happened right there with Nacho is the same thing I was talking about with Chico. He escaped up top into that window. Alright, Rambo and Game Ruler still got the high ground here. Ghost is just being stalwart. Hold on the point. Alright, looks like they're going to turn it around. That's good. Okay, I'll be honest, that was a good play from Red. I mean, it didn't work out in the end the way they wanted it to, but it was not a bad idea and it wasn't a bad play. They really, they had this left side of the map really controlled, but they just didn't have enough pressure coming in from the other side of the map to make it all pan out the way they wanted to. So, good job to Game Ruler and Rambo over here for really, putting the pressure down on this entire zone of the map. It was actually a good play over here. It's just that Jonesy and Jonesy and Vendetta couldn't make the play over here. Because all right, so the way that could have happened better if it was red team, right, is, let me do this, not this. Now let me do this. All right, so while all this pressure was going on over here, what really needed to happen is Vendetta and Jonesy, they'd be working with these guys over here to try to pressure the rest of these guys over into what was going on with Rambo and Game Ruler over here, so they could get that LOS, get some damage in on them. That really would have been the way to complete that, because if you guys ever hear me talk about point scooping, if Vendetta and Jonesy had been able to work with their guys over here like Blink and whatnot, what should have happened is they should have tried to basically round these guys around into them. So basically they would have wanted to put pressure kind of in a weird little wave where they were just rotating all these guys back over into them. So that's kind of the scoop that they should have done. And I call it a scoop because it's kind of like when you run ice cream, like when you scoop ice cream, right? It kind of gives that curl. So that's kind of the same motion that you're kind of doing that way. You're kind of forcing the other guys to be scooped out of an area. All right, let's look at the rest here. All right, Vendetto's kind of in here a little early. We got some high ground control happening with Compton and Chico up here contesting.
Into the iris.
60 seconds remaining.
Let me look here for a second. Let me back up before I say anything about that trans. Let me take a look from this angle.
Pass into the iris.
Nope, that's a bad trans. Nobody was low. It wasn't really needed for the push. There's no real benefit that they're getting out of this trans right now. I mean, they could be trying to use that trans to push in on Dave, but Dave's here by himself. Really, like Phoenix is back here, but Phoenix is more focused on this stuff over here. Here's the deal: like, all you got to do if you want to get rid of Azaria, think it's a fat finger. I mean, maybe so. Maybe so. Let's say, I mean, if it was a fat finger, good for trying to use it. But, yeah, if you were just trying to use it to push in on Dave, just wait for the bubble to go down and then push in on Dave.
60 seconds remaining.
I also think that was a bad usage of Coalescence. I don't see the gain here. Right? I mean, granted, there was a zoning ult coming in here, and I mean, you would have had a lot more, usage if you could have focused in on these guys. Let me go back and take one more look at it. Like, I just want to go back through it again.
Pass into the iris.
60 seconds remaining.
Nope. All right, so I understand the zoning ult here to kind of like get the trans out of the way while you guys are rotating. So that was actually a pretty good usage of that zoning ult there. The problem with what Phoenix is doing is like there's no benefit here. Like when Phoenix popped that coalescence, there was no way that she could get any good eyes on any of the enemy team. It wasn't really to keep the tank up because the tank's already at full health. There's really Dave's fine. I don't understand this usage unless it was another fat finger, maybe, but. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least if you're going to fat finger, at least try to make some usage out of it. I understand that Vendetta's weak down here, but that doesn't warrant using an ult here from Phoenix. Like, that was just a poor usage. There was no plan here. Like, in my eyes, like, whenever you look at a usage of an ultimate ability, like, you got to look at what was the plan. And I'm just not seeing any benefit come out of that ult right now. Alright, Compton goes down to an orb there. What a lousy way to die.
30 seconds remaining.
All right, I'll be honest. I like that window. Um, the reason I like that window is just because you got these guys running double shield right now, and it's really helping put pressure back downstream on these guys running that. Good counter. Same reason. That was an excellent dragon. Who hit it? Chico? Chico, that was a great dragon. You had it pinpointed where the other team was using that window. It zoned Rambo out from the rest of his team. Like, I don't care if the dragon got anybody or not. The placement and the usage was immaculate. Now, everybody over here should turn around and kill the shit out of Rambo. Let's see what happens. They tried. Okay. I feel like that was maybe overkill right there, but I mean, it is overtime. You're trying to get people off the point, so fair enough. That should be game over. Yep. You may disagree with me, but I really feel like Chico's dragon won that point. Yeah, I was saying that was the big brain dragon. That's what impressed me about it. Like he had enough. Most people went over their mid flux, they turned their brain off. I don't know why, but honestly, that's the time when you should have your brain tuned in the most. What can you do to stop what's happening, even if you're in the air? I mean, if you're Ana, sleep that asshole. If you're Hog, hook him. Like, hey, I mean, grab dragon or not, like it was the play. So
Gale de Mahol. Score 0-2. Switching sides.
It was a good play altogether. That's definitely what won it. You are 110% right. If they didn't have that, they would have easily pushed up. It was a good flux from the other opposite tank. They looked like it was going to go ahead and swing the fight. And then, like you said, a lot of people just shut their brain off
yeah,
when they get flux. And Chico was calm, cool, collected, just popped it anyways. Basically 1 HP in a dream, too.
yep. All right, my thing here looks like it's messing up. If I hit the follower here,
Ready
there
for
we go.
battle.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at our setups here. Compton went to a soldier here. I like that swap. Chico went to McCree. I like that. Nachi's on a brig. What's Phoenix gonna play?
Som man bäddar får man licka. Du gör en höna av en
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend
Alright.
objective A.
Phoenix went with an Ana. Okay. Not a bad mix. Not a bad mix. All right, let me pay attention to how they came out this door, though.
5,
Did they do the same thing Red Team did?
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Yep, Marsh came out in front.
Objective A.
Marsh, why are you in front of your tanks? You just really need a hole in your head?
Not good.
Okay. Okay. That's unorthodox, but I don't hate it. I like what these guys are doing here. They were like, you know what, we got an idea that we want that high ground, and we're here to take it. So honestly, I like what they did here. I like the rotation, just going straight to high ground. It's pretty high brain. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
people just always go front forward, right? So this is actually a good strategy right here because there's 3 different ways to actually attack the point.
There is.
So, and they're
What I'll
splitting
think
them
about
too.
They are, because Blink's now in the background here. And from this high ground, Blink is really weak against this guy right here, Ghost Sniper. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
people
it's
don't think
pretty
about
good.
this, but a really good Zarya can track down a good Tracer and just melt them. Yeah, that was Ellie King, big brain right there. And the thing is, the reason I like it so much is because they have an like Ellie King got up here, and now they have an option. They can fight from the high ground, or they can just keep rotating into this natural cover, right, and right onto the point with these guys, and just take them by surprise, which is looking like what they did. And the reason this was a good strat is right here, right? This is a key part of this strategy in this composition. Playing a Brig coming out of this hallway, think about the pressure exploding out of that hallway with a Ryan Brig combo. And then you got a Hanzo right behind him. Huge pressure coming down out of that hallway. So this is going to be hard to counter because you also have Ghost Sniper up here putting, the point scoop pressure that I talked about before in with Zarya from the high ground here. So this is actually really an effective way to come into this point. All right, now they got them separated. Mars goes down, though, because Compton is up here contesting from the high ground on this side. So the thing now is Compton is causing a little bit of problem for him. It's not going to be enough to hold this point, I don't believe, but he's causing them some problems. Jonesy played a little too forward with that. Yep, not enough to hold the point.
Stop the payload.
Yep, Compton says get out or die. Let's see what the setup's going to be here. Alright, there's a lot of free space being given up by Rambo here. I can understand why, though, because we're down too many members to really kind of a good contest there. Compton's playing the high ground up here. I like it. Decent visor. Yeah, it's going to get some value there. Okay, so I feel like Red Team's problem here, while they're getting pushed so hard, is they're having very slow rotations, right? LA King's Dave and his guys have come out the door strong. They've created this momentum, right? That's just, it gets in your head, right? Like, so you got to really, this is one of the times where you got to, like, get your team group back up, take a breath, reassess what's going on, okay? And they go, okay, what can we do about it? So what's happening here is there's just a slight snowball that keeps happening on Red Team because of the sheer pressure that Blue has come out of the gate with. So they're being slow in their reaction to this. So sometimes what you got to do, like the instinct is to get up there and play as close to them, stop giving them space, right? That's the instinct. But really, in reality, what you need to do is give them a little bit of space to stop them from taking all the space. Exactly, Compton, which is kind of what I'm saying in a little bit of a different way. Give up a little bit of space to stop them, so you can get that solid positioning like you're talking about to keep them from taking lots of space. So keep in mind that sometimes that's when you got to take a breath. You got to be like, hey guys, let's get all together and get set up at the next choke. Really get set up at the next choke and stop these guys. So.
And I do like how Compton was on the high ground because especially on this map, I don't think B2P people utilize the high ground, especially on second point as they should, because that high ground is so huge.
You'll
in
always
some
hear me say high
points.
ground wins games.
Yep, and that's how this blue team. I really like how the blue team's grouping up. They're
Mm-hmm.
always stayed together. Even here, you know, the bubble late there, perfect. That's what you'd love to see, and they're just coordinating extremely well compared to the red team.
Okay. So essentially, what's happening here is kind of a stagger fest. Like they're just trying to eat up as much clock as they can on red team here, I believe.
The payload
There we go.
Yep.
has
And
reached
how do you do that properly, Diesel? How do you do that properly?
So the
It's
proper way
more
to do
than just
that,
staggering, right?
yes, you need to have a plan on who's going in and when. So it's really it's hard to do correctly because like what's happening is you have to like figure out basically who you're sacrificing for who in a way. Um, so you need to know like who's going in, like which one or two characters are going in to stagger, while the rest of your team kind of swaps to stall characters, as they call it, like more dive characters in a way, to get to the point faster. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to cycle yourself into eventually all being there at the same time. Is essentially what you're trying to do. So it's really hard to do, but it is possible. So most people lose their cool, lose their head in those situations where the point is going into overtime, and that's when you need to be the most focused, right? You need to be communicating. Okay, they're going in, they're about to go down. Like
More than just
the
jumping
next
on
person goes
point
in.
itself.
Right. It's
Yeah.
more than jumping on point itself. It's about communicating, hey, I'm about to go down, and giving somebody else the time to come in and get on point before it, goes all the way into the checkpoint. So,
Trying to get one of those healers. Like if the healer's
Mhm.
vulnerable, that's the biggest thing. That's your biggest target.
well, the
Is
big
trying to
targets
get
you
one of those
always want to
healers.
focus on, the top two targets are always the main healer and the main tank.
Yep.
Those are always the ones you want to go to, be going down. I don't care which one of them is available to shoot at, but if one of them is available to shoot at, that's generally, unless you got somebody at 1 HP that you can finish off, that's generally who you want to be shooting at. As a whole, anyway. All right, let's take a look at what this next point's looking like. All right. That was a minor thing, but you saw Game Ruler kind of like go all the way out to this far corner over here a second ago. Game Ruler rotated himself all the way out to this open area here. Don't do that. Again, try to play these corners to your advantage, because the deal was like he rotated all the way out in front of this enemy team, outside of where his tank could protect him anyway. So it's a minor mistake, but try to keep in mind that it is a minor mistake that you can work on. Like that's a minor positional mistake, but it can cost you a lot.
огонь по готовности.
Any follow up? Any follow up? No follow up. Okay. Was there anybody in there from? Is there anybody here from Blue Team that can tell me if that grab was communicated at all? Because it's kind of hard for me to make a good judgment on it, because I don't know if it was communicated. I do know that Dave just put the smackdown on Vendetta here. You don't think it was? Okay. So yeah, if that grab wasn't communicated, it was just kind of a bad grab then. Because there was no follow-up, no availability of follow-up. I mean, looking at Blue Team here, like honestly, there was nothing to follow up with it. Marsh doesn't have dragons. Chico doesn't have a high noon. And where's in Chico position to do anything, or in position to do anything with a high noon right now? Yeah, Chico's not even over here. Yeah, so grab's one of the best abilities in the game, but you got to have some follow up with it. Nano Hammer hurts. Nano Hammer does hurt. It hurts a lot. So Changing Vendetta out. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know that I would have used both of those right there. The trans and the window. Honestly, I would have used the trans and saved the window because of how everybody was positioned right there. Goes usually down with no bubble. If it was, yeah, the unfortunate hammer, not the really well placed hammer.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about why Vendetta just died. All right. Let's look at Vendetta's positioning, right? It's at this moment, right, that Vendetta just lost this fight. I don't know if anybody can tell me why, but here's the deal. This trans has a time limit. And you got to be planning in your head like that trans is about to run out at, at about this time. And when that trans runs out, you need to be in the position you need to be in, especially if you're Zenyatta, but also if you're the tanks, right? So Vendetta, again, like how I talked about the herpaderp tank positioning, Rambo and Vendetta are both there, right? They're just playing right out in the middle. They're not playing any corners. They're not ready. They're not ready for this fight right now. So, all right, that's what happens. Vendetta's not in a position where he can get away from that dragon because he's not playing his corners, right? He's not playing behind this choke. He starts taking damage there. The healers can't keep up with him, and then the pressure just folds in on him. So that's why he died there. Yep. And honestly, red team never got another good full regroup out of that entire fight. So yeah, like I said, I feel like there was, like, don't get me wrong, there was a good amount of aggression, and that's good playing tank. But in this scenario, from red team, with trans or not, like, it just wasn't the play. But yeah, you do expect a little bit of a different play with a Nano Ryan, right? But that's the funny thing. Like, you gotta try to be playing where you can be ready for just about anything that gets thrown at you. Hey guys, why does it look like I'm getting some frame drops here?
Yeah, it happens every time you pause it. It's pretty weird.
That is kind of weird.
Is something downloading on Steam or something?
Not that I can see. My notifications there. No.
Huh. That is pretty weird.
No, I don't have any downloads going on in the background either. So that's super weird. Anyway, let's see. What was the next map that we were going to go to here? Let me take a look.
It was.
Yeah, we're already like almost 2 hours in on one map. So.
Yep. Yep. At least we only have 4 matches, so Gibraltar is what you wanted to look at.
Yeah, Gibraltar is the next one I wanted to take a peek at, and match 2. All right.
You got the code?
Loaded up? Yeah, let me get that loaded up. Did that not load? Oh, okay. It's already here. All right, let me get out of this one. And
Definitely was Compton, but Diesel wanted to look at the positioning and stuff in Gibraltar because there was a lot of mistakes on positioning and how working on dive and stuff on Gibraltar. And that's the biggest thing of our VOD reviews too, right? So Root was definitely a better map, but
All right. Yeah, let's take a look here. And like we say here, let's see what we're going to do for compositions.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
All right, so blue team's running Hanzo Ash. Got the Mercy Pocket going on. Double tanks of Reese and Sigma. Can't go wrong with the Baptiste.
5, 4,
Right.
3.
So, what were our bands here? Somebody hit me with an exclamation bands. Roadhog. Okay. Genji Junkrat, Lucia. All right, fair enough. Okay, so with that being the case, with Junkrat being the only tank that was out of the rotation here, I'm gonna be honest. I would have preferred to see some dive compositions here for a lot of reasons. There's just like good high ground control in Gibraltar wins this game all the way through this match. Because like let's just like look at Gibraltar as a map here for a second before I even get into the review, right? Um, Starting out, we've got high ground surrounding this entire point. Got high ground here, here, and here. Okay, defensively, you've got high ground like in a whole like L shape here. Now, technically, you can go up and take this bridge as high ground as well. So this whole map, right? In every choke, every point, there's high ground and control everywhere. Just this whole map is full of it.
hold on, Wayne. If you could go to the Be Right Back screen because it's getting to the point where it's hard to even watch.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, go to the Be Right Back screen, then go ahead and